Do you remember what episode this is? Wait, I check.
What?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while. All right.
Autophiles Cars and Coconuts, episode 21.
Episode 21.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lost track of the count.
Right.
So it's been a while since we sat down.
Yep.
Little update lah. Basically, a lot of shit going on in my life.
Study. He chose one. This one you choose one.
I choose to put on burden. Yeah, so I had like a couple of papers to like concentrate on, and then also Klims. The auto show.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. The whole day just walking around doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, the day after that was the Leap Moto C10 drive.
Okay.
We drove it one day and then came back.
Okay.
And then after that, the moment we reached, Cherry launched the Omoda C9.
Oh.
And then Zeekr launched the two cars.
Then after that,
I was
Proton.
like, just KO. After that,
Proton. E.MAS.
E.MAS, yeah. So a bit too hectic lah. So we kind of took a short break. But yeah, we are back now. Last episode of the year, still sponsored by GA Detail, where they're having still a promo on the steamer wash. In fact, I'm steam washing my wife's car right now.
Right.
Yeah, car is filthy lah. So the best time to do it, once in 3 months. Yeah, don't be like me, do it more often. So yeah, come check it out. You wanna do a quick wash, a steam wash, or full detail of your car?
GA Detail.
Yeah, USJ1.
USJ1.
So let's get into our.
Oh, what's the agenda today, man? What's the agenda?
Normally we don't do world news, but yesterday I messaged you and you're like, we have to talk about this piece of world news.
What piece of world news?
Honda.
Oh,
Honeybishi.
Honeybish.
So basically Nissan is finally actually going bankrupt. After 30 years of trying their best, they're finally...
Of not going bankrupt, they're finally going bankrupt.
They're finally doing it, so round of applause. You're finally doing it. But now it's serious, so they gotta find some bailout lah. And I think Japanese government is like...
You think they will drag Honda with them?
This is the discussion. Let's tell the audience what's happening.
Okay,
Because a lot of people probably don't know.
Alright, so Nissan is in trouble and has been in trouble for a long time. Then internal politics caused that Carlos gone to be gone.
Best story of the automotive industry.
And then Carlos was like, you wait and see, you're gonna die without me. And lo and behold, a few years later, they really got into trouble.
Yeah.
What caught me off guard is, as a big corporation like Nissan, you don't go out there and say things like, we're gonna die in 14 months if you don't help me. Unless you're gonna die in 6 months.
Exactly. Unless the situation is already dire.
Yeah.
And you have one last lifeline lah, which is basically a loan.
Right.
That is the situation where you say, hey, help me, I cannot pay back this loan.
It's called delaying the inevitable kind of situation.
But actually, Nissan has a precedence for this. The first time they went bankrupt...
With Renault?
No, even before that. Before Renault took over.
Right.
I remember we did one of the first podcast episodes was actually about Nissan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And
we've gone full circle!
Yeah, I think episode 1 or 2, we went to a bar and we were talking about Nissan.
Right. And that was MCO.
Yeah, MCO or like post MCO, just when MCO was being lifted. So the first time they were going back, I think it was in the 80s or early 90s, they actually issued a press statement. Like they had the whole press there and they said like, listen guys, we're going bankrupt.
Right.
Then the world know, and then all the bidders came in to see who...
Was it that wasn't the incident with the Renault?
That was what led Renault to come in.
Oh, that led to Renault?
Yeah.
Which is the next 20 years?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And they learned everything bad from Renault lah. Let's put it this way lah. They really went downhill with build quality. We said one of the biggest problems with Nissan for a long time was too many platforms, too many models, cost rationalization wasn't there.
And a lot of pride because they are Japan's Proton lah.
And
in a way.
In a way, yeah, and they were the big boys. The original big boys was either Toyota or Nissan.
And Emperor drove in Nissan, right?
Right, until eventually the 70s when Toyota kind of took over.
I think when the Century came out.
They took over the mantle. So that and then we dragged our feet for 20 years and now we're back at...
Well, I mean, narrative is also important. According to, like when I was covering Nissan over the last 10 years, they are always touting how their turnaround was historic. Because they went from loss-making to profit-making in very short time. But of course, Carlos Ghosn is a master accountant lah, so he figured out ways to make it happen.
You think he cooked the book a little bit here and there?
A little bit lah, because in the end, when he was ousted, it was partially because of that.
Before we go there, I do remind me afterwards, I want to talk about cooking the books afterwards with Porsche. You're saying.
So in terms of narrative, I mean, the whole time when Carlos Ghosn was there, it was always, we're the top 5 or top 3 auto groups in terms of volume.
Right.
Profit was still strong when he was there.
Okay.
They were in the green lah.
Right.
So regardless of whether they were actually making money or not, to investors and to the general public,
good
the narrative was that they were doing okay. So even
were they actually? Because worldwide they were shrinking, wasn't it?
They were shrinking, but they were still finding ways to make it work. I don't know how.
So you think it's a on book kind
I
of thing?
suspect it's what we see with Tan Chong lah, where it's like they're always passing the problem to the next person. In the group,
delaying the inevitable.
Yes.
Because I mean, whatever you do on the book, eventually it has to translate into the real world.
Yeah.
When the debtor come knocking, you either get them to write it off, or you know.
And I think the real harbinger of Nissan's death was Scotty Kim.
Was it?
Yeah,
because as a guy who died so many times, I don't take it seriously anymore.
I mean, I unsubscribed to Scotty. Like there was a moment where like Scotty was the shit, you know? For like half a year, where I was like, hey, this guy is quite funny and quite entertaining. And after that, like I was like, this guy's doing the same shit every freaking week, and it's just getting tiring. Like. But I remember when I mean, I can see how Nissan could have kept their thing going,
right?
If people were still convinced that Nissan were making decent,
good cars,
competitive cars,
right?
But you don't really see reliability until you own the car,
right?
And I think Scotty kind of like exposed that thing and
the CVT.
The CVT.
But I don't think you need Scotty to tell the whole world that the CVT is crap.
Scotty is very influential, and he went beyond just CVTs.
Right.
He keeps bashing Nissan and saying you'll never buy a Nissan product. Every time there's a customer with a Nissan, he'll highlight how bad everything is, like not just the CVT, the quality of the entire product.
Right.
So he always bashes Nissan, and that in the public perception, because a lot of boomers watch Scotty. A lot of people who are spending money but don't really care so much about cars, they watch Scotty and they get advice from him. So I think the moment you break that public trust in the brand, you cannot perpetuate the cycle of keeping the money flowing somehow. You know, it starts becoming like, okay, now you just got to sell lease cars. I mean, to like
take notes now.
For your TikTok. It really does affect the psyche of the mass market.
Right. It does. It does.
So I think Scotty was the first harbinger of that, and then Carlos leaving.
Scotty came, and then Carlos gone.
Carlos gone, and then after that, you can't keep up the thing.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but I've touched some Nissan product over the past 10-15 years.
Yeah.
And as they age, they get a little bit Renault-y.
Yes.
Right? A little bit European.
Yeah. In the way they age.
And it's not, I'm not saying European is as a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm saying it as a bad thing. European, as they age, you know, plastic would crack. You know, things will fall apart, snap out of place. You know, things you don't see with Toyotas.
Yeah. I was just my wife was just asking me. Her Vios is now 7 years old. She asked me, how long can I keep this car?
Don't worry, one.
I said, you can keep it for as long as you want to keep it. Then she said, nothing will break. I said, you just
will break, just replace it.
CVT is probably going to be your biggest concern. After maybe another
2,000 ringgit long.
I said, like, put aside 3,000-4,000 ringgit in case you have to overhaul and all that. Change all the mounts, change the suspension parts. Just close one eye when the electronics break. You can run this car forever.
She will outlive you one.
Yeah. I guess she's probably going to drive that car until she retires.
Yeah. It will outlive you one, I tell you.
Yeah. But I can't say the same for Nissan.
No, you cannot. Almera, I sat in it, I'm like, cannot. You know, you see chappy trim. It's
even on Nissan test cars, man. I see chapping plastics.
That shit.
Yeah, so the solution to Nissan's problem is Honda merging with Mitsubishi, and
I don't buy that narrative.
Me also.
I don't buy it. You know, Nissan was literally pants down, balls hanging, on the ground, kneeling, begging for help. I mean, put yourself in Honda's shoe. Would you negotiate with this man, even though he looks so dignified in the press conference, right?
Yeah.
He has no choice. Accept your term or die, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say because these things, a lot of it is hidden, but I do keep track of the news items that come out here and there, and I remember already synergies forming between Nissan, Mitsubishi and Honda. I have seen a few press releases where they have said, we are going to develop things together, EVs, even before this whole scandal started, in the last year, I would say. And at the same time, in the last year, Renault and Mitsubishi's partnership has been degrading. They've been divorcing.
Right.
So as this divorce happens, and I've noticed even back 3 to 4 years ago, Toyota is forming an alliance with everyone who is not Nissan Mitsubishi. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's called the Monet Technology Group with SoftBank, Japan's big bank lah.
Yeah.
So they're forming kind of synergies with all the brands lah in Japan, even Honda included.
Mazda,
Isuzu also.
Isuzu also,
So brands that are relatively independent are also being drawn in.
Right,
The only one who was left out was Nissan lah.
Right,
So I have a suspicion that Honda will withdraw a little bit from the Toyota
because it will require Honda to be subservient.
and Honda doesn't like to be subservient.
And Honda was like, wait a second,
Yeah.
I may not be as big as you, but the Chinese wave ain't gonna kill me,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
It's gonna kill off that dude. But
Why
then-
should I be dragged down by all this?
why should I be subservient? The choice of facing the danger of the Chinese wave,
Yeah.
and there is a possibility of suffering very badly,
Yeah.
but I may not die. But then if I go this route, I'm subservient to you forever.
Correct. Yeah, it's a real Shogun moment.
Then Honda was like, there is a dude right there.
yeah. And I think it's not an equal partnership. I don't think it will result in an equal partnership. But I also realize Honda has a massive weakness.
What?
From the last 5 years of me noticing their strategy, their electrification EV strategy.
They have no EV.
And not only that, they have been changing their concept of what they're going to do for EV for 3 to 4 times already.
You saw that with their PHEV as well. Their plug-in hybrid. Because they come up with 4 different systems.
Yes.
Isn't it?
But they're hybrids and all that. I can see what they're trying to do.
Why? Okay.
Because they're like, okay, listen, I can make everything. I can do all the R&D. I
Right.
try everything lah.
Right.
I try everything. I see which one works, and then I stick to it. So now they've already stuck to one system.
Okay. After they tried 4,
They tried IMD and all that. Okay, we're going to stick with IMD.
Okay,
because the results are the best
okay.
on that. You know, they
Alright.
dropped everything else. But on the EV side, you remember they did the cute little what's it called? The Honda E.
I know.
Which was pathetic in terms of range, but it was a cutesy car and it worked for
Right.
Europe for a short while, and it was a good lah for that market. Then it dropped. But while they were doing that, they had a vision. They showed us in 2017 their vision for this line of products. It was a sport coupe, which looked really cool.
Okay.
It was like a S2000 but white color with the Honda E front.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, if they make that, it'd be cool, you know?
It never happened.
It never happened. They just didn't get the battery tech right lah.
Okay.
So then they scrapped the entire Honda E line, and then they went with GM. Because in the US, Honda needed a battery partner.
Okay,
And
okay.
GM had a whole Ultium platform thing going on with
Okay.
their own batteries and all that. So GM and Honda had some synergies, and they actually produced the car, the Honda Prologue. Sorry, I think
Did it
it's called.
sell?
It only just started going on sale this year.
Okay.
So reception, I think it's lukewarm. It's not the best thing in the world,
Okay.
but at least they have an EV.
But it's a
product.
US only.
It's a US only
Okay.
product, and it has a GM platform.
Okay.
And then at the same time,
They were doing that with the Chinese.
yes, they went to Dongfeng
Dongfeng and
GAC,
GAC, yeah.
and they got the ENY and the EY Plus or something.
I looked into this. They wanted to launch, or they launched 3.
Yeah.
Out of the 3,
Yeah.
one is with Dongfeng, one is with GAC. I'm
Yeah.
like, and it's so obvious this is Dongfeng car. This is a GAC car. You just slap your Honda badge on it, right?
It looks the same. It's just like minor differences.
And then there is no news after that. It is as if so are you going ahead with actually?
Well, in the end, I think they did go ahead because it was 2 generations of this product. They did it on.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
If I'm not mistaken, the EN1, the Dongfeng and the GAC partner products, the HRV that are electric products. If I'm not mistaken, there's 2 generations already.
Oh right.
Yeah, and so they knew this was going to happen in China, so they were at least get the ball rolling.
Were they in the charts in terms of sales?
I don't think so. I don't monitor Chinese sales
Okay,
so much
okay.
because it's all in Chinese, but I think they at least had a product.
Because I don't hear.
Yeah.
I don't hear. I hear Neo.
And
This that.
I respect Honda's approach better than some of the other Japanese, because you look at Mazda. What they did was they rebadge existing. I can't remember. I think it was a Dongfeng product, and they just call it a Mazda whatever EZ6 or something like that.
Yeah.
But you look at the lines. It's like, dude, this is the
Yeah.
Chinese product just rebadged,
Right.
Then you look at Toyota with the BZ3X, and it's
Toyota
basically-
is in denial, man.
it is a BYD product lah.
Yeah.
You know, largely I think,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, they joint venture with BYD
Right.
and all that. So that product also, like, to me, doesn't taste right lah. Doesn't taste like a Toyota product. And then you look at what was the other one? Nissan N7. I think another Chinese partner did with them.
Right.
All these products are basically Chinese rebadges or done by the Chinese.
Right.
It looks like no relation to Nissan or no
Right,
relation to Toyota, no relation to Mazda. But when you look at the Honda product, it's a HRV. It's like, this is at least your body.
Which one?
The EN1.
Okay.
And now they're going to bring it to Malaysia.
Okay.
So they're going to import it from China and sell it here next
Okay.
year. So that was the third partnership.
But out of the three, the first was the EN1.
Yeah, the naming is a bit confusing.
Then there is a D.
The D1
is Dongfeng one, right? And then there's a GAC one. No, D segment one. There's a D. The D.
Yeah. That one I can't remember whether it's out or not. That one I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember what it looks like. Recently, I think this year itself, they showed their next generation vision of EVs, which has that new badge, the Honda badge.
Oh yeah, the smaller case,
lower case one, and then a little bit of a different shape, a very very funky concept looking shape.
Right.
And I'm like, who's going to be a partner for that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be in-house. I don't know.
Okay.
But the thing is, of all the manufacturers, the most inconsistent with their electric vision has been Honda. Their pure EV vision has changed 4 times in the last 5 years. So as much as I like Honda, I'm a little bit worried for them.
Because Nissan had an EV program. You had the
10
Leaf.
years.
Yeah. So long ago.
Yeah.
And Leaf.
In fact, 15 years already.
In fact, they were at the point in time not exactly behind, isn't it?
No. They launched the model, the Leaf.
Right.
I think the same year as the Model S. 2012,
I mean,
2011.
they don't have the range, they don't have the power, but it was a cheaper product.
Yeah,
right?
And they went with a different philosophy.
Right.
Start from low and then go up.
Yeah.
But they never went up.
They never went up, right?
Yeah.
And Leaf is now second generation.
Yes. But Leaf is kind of behind because they have the Aria, which is like kind of third generation already.
Okay.
But Aria is also like kind of faltering. Because Aria was meant
Is that
for,
what Honda was looking for?
from the vision of the 4th gen products of Honda, it doesn't look like a Nissan collab yet. But once the synergies forms, maybe we'll see that. So maybe my perception of how Nissan has some leverage is at least Nissan has some electric vehicle native tech. They have some vertical integration with Panasonic.
My question is, did Honda not get this tech from either GM or Dongfeng or GAC?
All conditional.
Because Ion, come on.
Yeah.
Huge.
But I believe all their other partnerships before is just contract.
Oh.
It's like we use your platform for 1 gen and then we see if it works. Because it all looked very experimental.
They're basically throwing darts.
They're throwing darts. Because either way you won't make money with EVs. You will lose money for 10 years before you make money. And that's also a gamble, right? So I think they were just like, okay, we throw the darts.
See which one stick.
We contract, we keep costs low, and then you see which one works, we see if it's worth doing, and then we go down.
Because you got to be in the game, and you cannot be totally not in the game. Because if it
Which is Nissan lah. Nissan was 1 foot in the game, 1 foot out not in the game, and then cost is an issue, completely collapsed. Yeah. So maybe from Honda's point of view, there is some advantage because they can say, okay, we don't have to come up with huge capital to get all of these things going. We just say, listen, we pay your debts, and you give us that.
But what else can Nissan give to Honda?
A lot. Honda has no commercial vehicle sector.
Is Toyota's commercial vehicle sector doing well?
I don't think it's losing money. Is it?
I don't know, man. All the new trucks that you see here.
All Chinese.
I don't keep track.
I have done some interviews with truck logistics people.
Right.
They tend to either go, they will try Chinese for a short while,
right,
and they will go back to Volvo and Scania.
Is it?
Yeah. Because Volvo and Scania offer a lot of things that are beyond just value.
Right.
For them, it's logistics is not about how much I pay upfront. Of course, the Chinese will always give you less.
Right.
It's whether I can keep the damn thing running for 40 years.
Right.
And how much it costs to maintain, fuel cost, driver training, GPS.
Consistency, because it's
a lot of value added really adds value because you are driving fleet and logistics stuff. So they really look to the Scandinavian
overall ownership cost.
So I don't know where the Japanese brands sit in terms of.
I also don't know. I never looked deeply. I just see all the newer ones, especially the very heavy ones. The earth movers.
It's all Volvo, Scania.
No, that's the older ones. The newer ones with shiny first wash haven't happened on.
It's Chinese.
It's the Chinese one.
JAC, JMC, and all that. I think it'll still be a mix-up because from what I heard from them, they tried for like 3-4 years and they like tabure pakai, man. But maybe that's a 10-year-old problem.
Okay. I also look into Honda's sales worldwide.
Dropped 25%.
Very badly.
26%.
In China is around there, or around 30 or 29 or something like that. In Asia Pacific and Oceania, 9% drop. America goes up. That's where they kind of regulate a little bit. But overall, it looks as bad as Nissan, you know. You get what I mean? So I'm thinking, where are they getting their cash from? And the only answer I have is motorbikes, because fuckers have no cost, man. They just print money only. Correct or not?
Yeah. I mean, Honda is diverse in a way that the others are not. Diverse and small.
So in a way, Nissan and Honda, so you have motorbikes, and then you have cars, and then you have cars, and you have heavy
commercial vehicles.
And now Toyota is shaking in the pants and thinking, oh shit, now I actually have a competitor.
A domestic rival that can...
And I don't have... Oh wait, they have Suzuki, Yamaha. They have motorbikes.
Kawasaki, I don't know who they are aligned with. Maybe they are independent.
Right.
Yeah, so it's interesting, I think, monitoring this Honey-bish situation. Theophilus came out with the name.
Honey-bish.
It'd be interesting to see. I don't think it will trickle down in the next 5 years.
It's not going to be so fast.
It won't be faster. I mean, we don't even see the Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance happening in Malaysia.
they had a plan, so Malaysia was supposed to be Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
Never panned out.
Southeast Asia was Mitsubishi's territory.
Right.
But I mean, you kind of do see it pan out a little bit.
With the Triton. You
see how hard Mitsubishi is going, man. They're spending money.
Not just Triton, the MPV as well.
The Expander, yeah.
The Expander.
They are spending money that dwarfs Nissan. And you look at local sales, Mitsubishi is selling more than Nissan. So in a way, it is happening in some ways. We just don't see the synergies forming, as in like Tanchong is still in the picture.
Okay.
And Mitsubishi is using a plant.
It's too hard to move the entire organization around.
Mitsubishi is using a plant that is not linked to Tanchong at all.
Huh?
Tanchong has two plants, has Segambut and Serena.
Right.
Mitsubishi is using a plant in Pekan because Mitsubishi is under DRB.
Oh yeah, DRB Highcom, yeah.
And DRB already has CKD operations somewhere. Right. So the synergy is not forming here. And the Honda, Mitsubishi, Nissan synergy may not form here. We may see it in the in the products in 10 years, but in the next 5 years we still...
It will be interesting to see what happens. There was a lot of coming together of big companies, and a lot of them didn't work actually.
Yeah.
Look at Daimler Chrysler.
Yeah.
Oh, bad shape, man. That pulled down Mercedes for a whole decade.
and poisoned their mentality.
Right. And then you have Stellantis, which is the most beautiful...
Has not failed yet.
I don't know, man. All I see is red.
Carlos Tavares retired already. resigned.
That's not my problem, right? Yeah. So, I mean...
We see red, but we also see some promise. They are building a CATL factory in Spain.
Oh, is it?
So, I mean, this kind of companies won't be allowed to fail.
Yeah.
I was just discussing it with one of my colleagues who's quite good at writing huge articles. And he's like, can you name any 20th century, or at least 1950s onwards, car company that has failed besides Saab and Holden?
Not American.
50s
Aurora.
Onwards. Okay. Let's call it the ones that are known in Malaysia.
Oh, okay. Very few.
Very few.
But America a lot.
America a lot. UK a lot.
Huh? A lot. No, UK a lot. America a lot.
Yeah. But a lot of those are early 20th century. They have their roots there.
Right.
But after the 50s, 60s onwards, where it becomes part of your father's psyche already, those brands are there forever, man. Only Saab and Holden, from what we can try to research, that's the only two we can find.
I see the smaller Japanese going that direction unless they go under Toyota.
That's the thing. I mean, all these brands can die, but they get absorbed.
Yeah.
Lancia is still around.
They died, then it came back. Somebody revived it.
Alfa Romeo died so many times, it's still around.
It doesn't die properly, that brand.
They are not allowed to die.
Yeah. So, too much history behind it.
So Nissan, I think, also may not be allowed to die. See, even if Honda doesn't have the capital to make it happen, the Japanese government will inject.
You think so?
I think so.
Do you think that beg for help was asking the Japanese government, we are going to lose face for you?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be job loss in the tens, hundreds of thousands.
Volkswagen was hoping that they have a government like that, isn't it? I just read their negotiation that lasted 15 hours. Oh, I don't want to be in that meeting, man. Came up nothing.
Nothing.
Volkswagen said, we want to close 3 plants. Union say, 1 plant also cannot close, 1 job also cannot lose.
So, like, what kind of negotiation position is that?
And then the union was like, we can only accept 1. No increment for 2025. Volkswagen said, I close shop. It's okay. I don't close factory, I close shop.
Yeah.
I don't know lah. It looks quite bad.
European Union stuff. I mean, unions in European Union is just some shit that
Different
doesn't
level, man.
When I was studying there for 1 year, there was one holiday where my friend's parents came in from France, and they had their dog in their car and all that. I was just like, oh, not bad. It's a weekday. You all come here. Oh yeah, we're on strike today, so we decided to go on a holiday. And I'm just like, huh? I
actually respect that level of non-attachment to their emotions when it comes to fighting. You know.
Yeah.
He got me. It's like, oh, we're on strike today. He can say it nicely, right?
Yeah. They are not fighting. We have a union to fight for us.
Yeah. And the union want to kill each other, but we are not, getting angry about it. You know, so
in a way, it's kind of cool.
It's very civilized.
It's very cool.
It's very civilized, very detached, right?
In Malaysia, it can never happen.
No, but the emotions will fly, right?
And I remember in London, like one day I was just like, on Google Maps it says, okay, I can go here, I can go here. Then suddenly, strike reported, cannot use this line. Imagine this happening in Malaysia, man. I mean, even if the thing is down for non-strike reasons, we'll go crazy.
Yeah, man. So
anyway. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So that's Honey-Bish.
That's Honey-Bish. I think that's probably because it's a end of the year episode. We can bring in one major international news item.
Okay. Malaysia news. Okay.
Let's talk about the launches that were not done at CLIMS.
Okay.
Starting with the Proton e.MAS.
Right.
So your voice was heard.
Was it?
Yes.
No lah.
Because they wanted to start at 120. They wanted to start.
I think the biggest. I have a feeling Geely sabotaged them.
That was the sentiment I got from the Zeekr.
And I have a feeling there was some disagreement between Geely and Proton, even though the CEO of Proton was from Geely, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he has a team who doesn't entirely agrees with him. He may have bosses in terms of stakeholders that he reports to that has a different idea from what Geely wanted. So I have a feeling Geely checkmate them. By doing 111 in Thailand, you try lah.
Yeah.
You try to do 120 and see what happened to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get roasted, man. Try it out and roasted. So that's what I think lah. It's not us. I mean, I made a few person angry lah. I probably made a few person lose some sleep.
But there was probably a meeting with some shouting going on lah.
But I think finally the decision was sealed by the action done in Thailand. There's no choice already.
Do you think Proton had control over the final price?
You think Geely control?
I don't know, man. I think there was something that was going on that was a bit off. I don't think it's all negative, the synergies with Geely and Proton. But there's some very strange things that we learned.
Okay. Tell me about these strange things that you noticed.
By right, I mean, the e.MAS 7 and the Galaxy E5, this is the closest Proton and Geely has ever been in terms of product launch. The battery tech was only shown in June of this year, and Proton is getting the technology within 6 months. The whole product comes out at the same day. Almost the same day lah. Between China and Malaysia, the initial reveal.
Right.
And you're saying that your engineers, and I believe that there were
some.
So why didn't Proton get the Thailand market? Because they have right-hand drive. They have, if I'm not mistaken, smart distribution in Thailand. So they have the showrooms kind of set up there to some degree. Why didn't they get the right-hand drive market for the e.MAS/Galaxy E5? At the same time, for whatever reason, X50 is being sold.
I did a video on it.
In Vietnam, which is a left-hand drive market, by a Proton, arm or something like that.
Is it batch as a Proton?
I don't know. When we learn about
it's a left hand, 200 units,
Yeah.
Right?
When we saw the slide, we're like, huh? When did this happen?
I mean, I chalk it down to this. It's a bunch of people sitting down and thinking. I think the Chinese are also very sensitive to this. It's geopolitics.
Because Vietnam and China, no friends.
Yeah. I realized this when I was scrolling TikTok and I see BYD Han being sold in Vietnam. And when I saw that, I look around and I'm like, am I the only one that felt a little bit faux pas here? There's something is wrong here. Like I said in my TikTok
was it selling
video.
well?
I don't know. I think they just launched a few months ago.
Okay.
So there was a lot of interest, but I can't read Vietnamese, so I didn't bother to.
This is how I feel reading China news.
So, I mean, you know I like the Han, right?
Yeah.
But it's a little bit like Volkswagen coming up with a model called the Ariane. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I look at the price of the Han, it's expensive. It's 200,000 ringgit there. So it's BYD seal.
Do they have a tax-free policy on EVs?
I look at their price on the M6, close to ours, a little bit higher. So the M6 is like 10 plus thousand. Our M6 is what? 110.
125, I think the most.
Okay, theirs starts from 120.
Oh, okay.
Which means the BYD Han is a little bit more expensive than our Seal. 200 or a little bit.
That means our Seal is overpriced.
No, it's a bit bigger. Han is bigger.
Yeah, but by right, then the Seal should be a bit cheaper.
Yes, 160 is the correct price. Wrong spec, but correct price. No, BYD, I've said this many times, BYD Malaysia overly expensive, okay?
Yeah, but they're smart about it.
Yeah.
They don't bring a
They don't let you do comparison. I'm one day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, which means even though our low spec is lower than their lowest, I'm going to treat it as the same and I'm going to compare the price for you and then just show you how far they price things. Anyway, so I was looking at it, I'm like, bro, if I have the money, 200,000, I'm an educated man in Vietnam, I walked in and see a car called BYD Han, it's going to be a little bit offensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit. Then I realized, hey, Geely had access to Proton, which doesn't have bad reputation in Vietnam.
In fact, Malaysia and Vietnam has good relationship.
To a certain extent, right?
Because we help their boat people.
Correct. So as such, hey, why not use Proton to sell in Vietnam? And then you avoid any potential ramification from politics. And then I put myself in the shoe of Thailand as well. Thailand, you want to sell Proton? That little brother down south.
Yeah.
And I realized that Malaysia and Thailand has a bit of, especially when it comes to automotive, has a
there's a rivalry.
There's a sibling rivalry, like peer rivalry, right? Yeah. They have more units, but we have more higher value cars. You know what I mean? There's a bit of that. So why bother going in there? Now that China cars are there, accepted well, and they're going full force fighting, now Geely comes in with the Galaxy E5. Makes sense.
Yeah. And to a layperson, Geely might be a bigger brand to Proton in Thailand.
It is, because now you are talking about as big as BYD fighting here.
Yeah.
Let's check them out.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas you bring in Proton, you're like, down south, stupid little country down south, what do you do? Go and die. You know? Yeah.
And you notice that they also launched, I think in Australia, or they have ambitions to launch the Galaxy E5 in Australia. Australia and Thailand EV market is extremely competitive.
Very.
It's probably more cutthroat than here.
Very. Malaysians are a bit traditionalist.
And also we have that 100k price floor
stuck there
lah. So you can never get that competitive anyway. So when you have that kind of situation, time is of the essence. And fumbling cannot happen because the moment you fumble, you lose. So I think Geely was like, screw this shit, I'm going to go in. And in fact, I can launch faster than Proton.
You think it's that?
I think it's that. Because if you don't do it fast, you will lose.
Of course, time is of the essence. I'm just thinking, what takes Proton so long?
It's a Malaysian company.
No,
hello.
I mean, but the car was ready, you know. They wrapped it 3 times. Like, what are you waiting?
Do you need an explanation for why Malaysian companies take so long to launch things? Must align with the Prime Minister's schedule. Must align with this person's schedule. It's real one. You know the freaking E.MAS launch was a jilat fest for Anwar.
I saw.
The speech had.
Thank goodness I didn't do the reaction video with Teo Lipas. He wanted to do. I'm like, no.
I was just there like, why did jilat like that? When Mahathir was there in the last,
they never jilat him.
They don't jilat lah. I mean, they jilat a little bit lah. They have to jilat a bit lah. But they jilat Max, man. Jilat Pro Max. I mean, jilat is that a bad word? I don't know. I'm not saying jilat the
actual. I mean, sakap lah.
You know what I mean. I mean, in case the police are looking at this, what I mean is they
really suck up to the Prime Minister.
They suck up to the Prime Minister.
A bit too much lah.
Yeah, they're like, you know, when Proton was launched in 1983, that was Anwar's first year as the youth thing. I'm just like, who cares? There's no relation. You put Mahathir there as the founder of Proton. Okay.
Better don't put.
I mean, in the previous in the previous one they did that lah because Mahathir was there, but this time just like there is no relation. This guy is not even a car guy.
I'm all for not pissing off the Prime Minister.
Don't piss him off.
But no need to jilat lah. I mean, he's a modern man. He's perfectly rational. You know, you make him feel uncomfortable also lah.
Yeah, I mean, he was so uncomfortable. You could see it. Because at the photo op,
Right.
he didn't stand for more than 3 seconds.
Yeah.
We took one photo.
Gali,
He's already
I'm sure he also feel gali.
yeah. He was like, I want to go in the car. I don't want to be with you guys. He literally just walked away from the photo
Hey,
op.
gali.
But yeah, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
The E.MAS 7 pricing 110 to 124.
109.
109 to 123.
124.
124 lah.
109.
It's 110
109, 800.
Yeah.
So 110 lah. 110,
110 to
124.
124.
Right.
The 110 one, I think, is a waste of money.
Yeah, they're sending a very clear message. Don't go for that.
Yeah, because the range is WLTP is 345.
Right.
Which is
this close to the Smart?
it is.
It is.
It
The
is.
Smart is around there, right?
Yeah.
It's range anxiety from day one. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You can make it work, but you have to go home and charge every day.
So it's your A and B, B to A lah. It's
Yeah.
always your A to B, B to A. Only.
Yes.
Right.
But when the price difference percentage-wise is so small between the lower spec and the higher spec, and then you're throwing in so many goodies.
Right.
16 speaker system, parking sensor, a few other things. What was it? I can't remember. Panoramic roof.
Panoramic roof, rim are larger, speakers, ventilated seat, powered seat at the passenger side.
Speakers in the seat headrest also. There's enough there to make you feel like this is
14,000,
more-
yeah.
It's more than a 15,000 ringgit price difference.
But it tells you also how much they're trying to earn from a 110, which means they could have sold it for 100.
They gotta make some money, man. and yeah, they are still trying to sell the X70, and to a large extent, I can see why they're not going so aggressive.
They don't want to kill the X70. Yeah.
No, I still strongly believe that even if your car EV is priced below 100k, the volume of buyers is like that.
How much is M6?
M6 is 110, 115.
It's selling crazy, wo.
Selling crazy, yeah.
Oh, it's selling crazy, wo. Oh, now, if you can do a mass, the bottom spec lah, take away something more lah,
Yeah.
1 or 2 item more lah. Okay, give me a real basic sound system, but give me 99,000.
I think that will come next year lah. I think, you know why not? Because this product, unlike the M6, like you're saying, the M6 is not the Atto 3 platform.
No, it's not. It's a song.
It's a song platform.
It's
It's older.
Yeah, it's older.
This is not the case with the E.MAS. The E.MAS came out 6
know,
months
it's the
ago.
latest one. It's
They
the
got to
latest one.
recoup some cost, man. The whole battery, I was just reading through the battery tech. It's substantially better than
Which raises the
LFP
question.
from
Geely has
BYD.
so many electric platforms.
Yeah.
If cost is really that big of a problem,
They have so many products. Yeah,
why don't just
Panda
use
and all
an
that.
older one?
I think they didn't. Maybe the perception was Proton doesn't like the fact that people make fun of them for bringing in older Geely products. You see the gap
If your
between-
price is right.
not necessarily. You know. The Haoyu and the X90, the gap is 3 years, which is longer than the X70 and X50. X50 was 2 years. Even the
You're talking about S90.
yes, X90 the gap was the longest.
But it wasn't just that. It was
The pricing was a bit off lah.
It was too expensive for most Malaysian, and it's not that good as an MPV either.
I mean, it was okay lah. I didn't find any fault compared to the Cherry.
I mean,
Turbo.
it's not an MPV lah. It's a 3-row SUV.
Yeah.
Which doesn't serve the MPV purpose. Which explained the 120,000 BYD electric,
Yeah.
1,000 unit in the first month. Like what the hell?
I don't know, man. I can see lah. I mean, I wouldn't completely fault them for not launching 99k
Yeah.
on day one.
I fault them 90.
Straight away, yeah.
You should have gone 99.9, man. 9.
I would say there's still time lah.
Yeah.
And when Perodua comes out with their EV, okay lah, pop 95,000.
Because I'm thinking you can always increase. You cannot decrease.
They can. I mean, EVs show you that they
doesn't look good,
decrease
you know.
all the time.
It doesn't look good, you know. You feel betrayed, isn't it?
Yeah, but EV, that's the name of the game, man. You decrease every 6 months.
I know.
BYD also does it. They come up with a new dynamic seal.
Uber, they change their terms all the time. Man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it, but that is how the game runs, man. You launch at as high as you can, and then you cut price because it has to cut price eventually. So, it is.
How's the sales?
We don't know yet. It's only been a week. Not even a week.
A few
It was
days.
Friday.
Yeah.
Today is Thursday, so less than a week.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm already like checked out of this year's news. I already switched off, man. I'm just like.
I'm waiting for the data, man. I'm really waiting for all the data to come out.
But BYD is the M6 is going strong. Man.
It's not just that. BYD revenue today came out news. BYD revenue exceeded Tesla.
Wow. But you can see Geely is giving some strong fight.
I tell you cannot kill Geely lah.
Yeah.
Geely is the Volkswagen of China now.
And you think about it, Geely and BYD are the two privately owned
It shows you.
makers.
You know what it shows you? It shows you that a business culture, willingness to fight. Bottom line, all of these things determine the success of a company much more than how much money you have.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I see with Proton. If I price it too cheap, then I affect my X50, X70. Bro, you're not hungry enough lah.
Yeah.
If you're hungry enough, as long as it's profit, you take.
100%. Like the thing that I do blame Proton is, well, it's not really their fault, is that they have no competition.
Which is
So it's a government fault.
Which is a problem in this country. A lot of things are like mediocre lah, like that lah.
I honestly, the pricing of the Proton e.MAS, I don't blame Proton. Proton is a private, they are a profit-making company lah. So they have to maximize however they can. I blame the government policy.
Right.
Because you're saying free reign for everybody, but 100k Proton and Proton. You do that, immediately Proton's going to say, then why should I try so hard?
Right. Exactly.
The moment you open the 100k gap, of course Purdue will suffer, but Proton will also be forced to work.
Exactly. The moment you open it, I tell you, GWM lah, Wuling lah.
Yeah.
Oh, all the 50, 60k will come in, man.
Yeah. So my anger and disappointment is not aimed at Proton. It's at the
MITI.
government. Yeah, it's MITI. It's Zafrul, who is apparently going to become PKR. There's some talk lah. He's going to enter PKR, which some people are against.
Wait, he's with?
He's with UMNO. He's a senator under UMNO, not MP.
But from that, it tells me he's a heavyweight though. Political
lah. He's connected lah. He cannot die lah. It's one of those things.
Cannot die one.
Yeah. And probably for PKR's long-term survival, he might be essential.
Useful lah.
Because Anwar doesn't have a proper successor. Is that you're going to give it to Formula King?
Or you're starting to put the idea that Zafrul might be our future prime ministers.
I mean, I don't like the idea. I don't like the guy. I don't think he has very good vision. But if he's politically not savvy, he might be the only option. Who else you going to put? You can't put a BN guy in. A pure BN guy.
Yeah, you can't put Rapizi also. The guy is a bit too controversial.
Yeah, even I don't like him. You can't put Anthony Loke. And you can't put the.
No, I will scream if you put Anthony Loke there. Freaking Pengawas!
From Pengawas to Ketua Pengawas. I saw him at the launch also. He was at the e.MAS launch. My friend said he looked like Doraemon.
Life too good now. High blood pressure, bro. I see your eyeball. I can tell.
Can see, right?
I can tell, bro. Watch your food intake, bro.
I worry for him because in a way I see his life, right? He's like checked out of it already, man. He's like, what can I do?
He overextended himself lah.
He overextended and he compromised too much.
Yeah.
He didn't give his own vision for what DAP should be.
Yeah. That's the problem I have with Pengawas. Sometimes you reach a certain point of position, it's not about fixing every small problem.
Yeah.
It's about seeing where things are going to go. And along the way, things won't work the way you want it to work. But yeah, that's a must, man. I'm okay with it, pricing, but I just think that you are still about 9k.
9k more before you buy. Maybe we talk about the next Geely launches in Malaysia.
Oh,
Zeekr 09 and X. And I think you better talk about this.
Why?
Because you actually drove the car. I'll tell you my perception of it. Because when I was there, I saw some Geely people who also go to Proton launches, and they were talking about Proton now. They were like, there was some shift in management that probably caused some synergies to lose track in the
Proton.
last. Yeah.
Geely and Proton.
Geely and Proton. Basically, Geely changed their strategy. Zeekr wasn't even a proper sub-brand. They were supposed to be under Link & Co.
Yeah.
And then Link & Co flopped.
I noticed that there was some change at the top level.
Yeah.
Right?
Where the top was just like, shit, we gotta make things work better. So
that's what I was thinking, that in China they were thinking worldwide market, and then you hear a bunch of monkeys here talking about, you promised us to be the right hand drive. It's like to Geely, I put myself in Geely point of view. It's like a bunch of monkeys in a jungle. It doesn't matter lah.
Yeah.
You see the freaking big picture or not? Now even Link & Co is in trouble, right? Volvo is in trouble, right?
Where's the new product, man?
Polestar is gone, right? So we are talking about bigger shit, and you and a bunch of monkeys are talking about gonna scam. It's like fucking shut the fuck.
Yeah, dude, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
And I think some of the like Geely gives a lot of face to Proton.
Yeah.
Li Shufu flew down for X90 launch to do the whole automotive rally in Tanjung Malim. I think the vision there was like, listen, a lot of Chinese manufacturers are going to come. We're going to make the next version of Shah Alam and Kulim lah, because these two areas are full of vendors, right?
Right.
So we make one in Tanjung Malim lah, since we already got Proton's plant there. It's called the automotive, I don't know, some stupid name lah. AHTV, that's the full name of it.
Okay.
1 year later, how many vendors are there? It's only the Proton vendors. So Geely is looking at it.
To be honest, I deal with the Chinese in my business capacity, and from them they say we are a little bit, and they are talking about the Chinese here. He says, you guys are a little bit slow. He says, you guys don't get the big picture.
Yeah.
And that not getting the big picture thing really hits me, and I realize, oh shit, yeah, our entire country's economy is equivalent to probably one province. Yeah. And now at the rate, it's probably one major city there. You get what I mean? Yeah. And the decision that they make at their level, it's dealing with the whole of Europe, how to deal with North America, how to conquer South America, how to shut Australia up, you know. Yeah. And we are making noise about fucking gonna scam lah. Yeah. It's a bit irrelevant lah. And then, you know, where's the result? Show me the result lah.
Exactly. If they can show a result, then okay.
You know, I understand, you know, but show the result lah. Result also don't have. Right, not mediocre sales for X70.
Yeah, it's a very really a culture clash. We have.
I get that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, we are Malaysian. How hard do you want to work?
Can. Actually can.
You can.
I've seen a lot of Malaysian companies who fight tooth and nail for survival, and this is what I was just saying. You know, a lot of Malaysians are. Maybe we have been very mediocre, very protected. So we do everything. We do okay, then okay already lah. In China, you do okay, you will die one. You will die one. You have to be outstanding. That's why I was talking about Xiaomi SU7. They don't have to price it like that. He tells you he lose money, 9,000
per car.
Per car. Yeah. Not. I think it's on paper lah. It's on paper lah. Some of this debt will write off one.
Or some supplier won't get paid.
Or some supplier won't get paid lah. Or some will get contract. Hey, you open a dealership.
Take 200 cars.
Here, that's payment. You know, but they don't have to sell so cheap. But they did.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. They don't have to sell so cheap.
You want to take it? I can change battery.
Okay. Hello?